We have two of them that are blinking red, which means they're not going to work.
All right, there's only going to be, Mason's not coming, and George is not coming. Mason's wife had an operation.
Oh,
She fell a few days ago, maybe it's more, broke a collarbone, major surgery,
yeah.
major surgery. She's home now. And George, I think, is out of town. She's older, and she said, and the doctor went in, this is what Mason told me, all kind of bones were floating around there. Ooh. All right. Hey there, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Hey, Tyler.
All right, let's see. So, here's the agenda. Where are we sitting? Your favorite seat?
I was just looking on
A lot of things, a lot of people want to say. So we have two microphones that are blinking red.
What do you take?
I take lots of Xanax.
That works. All right. Good morning, officer. Chief. Please, over there. Is that yours? Elizabeth, where are you sitting? Okay, you can sit right here. You get your own table. This is the crowd today. And here's Brad.
Is this the
Yeah,
crowd?
Mason's not coming.
Huh?
Mason is not coming.
Okay.
His wife had a major surgery. She fell, broke a collarbone. She got major surgery.
Oh, no.
So she just came home, I think, late yesterday. I've been in touch with him, and she's in a lot of pain. Major surgery. Shattered it and all.
Oh,
And George is away.
yeah. I'll check with them.
This is not going to be a long meeting today. It's going to be less than an hour.
Less than 30 minutes.
It could be 45 minutes. Everybody's doing their jobs, and that's what's important. Right.
Yeah. I'm pretty antisocial, I guess. I don't need one.
Does this work? This line or, that one works. Okay.
Is that agenda there?
Excuse me?
Is that agenda there?
This one is, yes.
Did you send that out?
It's on, I think it's online. It's on the website.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a fantasy drug in it. It's like, come on.
Okay. What time do you have? 9 o'clock?
All right. But I did get.
8:58.
Okay, let me know when it's 9.
So, yeah,
Thanks.
there is Wi-Fi. You can hook to it. I just never done it. Okay, so silly question. Can we tell if people have actually called in to these meetings?
I don't know, that's a good question. If people are actually watching, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm fine if they do. I was
Yeah,
just curious.
I think so. There's a few people that do. Mary and Joe usually watch it if got nothing else to do. Mason may be watching from home.
Oh, okay.
He's at home with Amy.
Has everybody got a working microphone?
Test.
If it's got a, if there's no light, and if it's on and it's no light, then that's good.
Okay, it's on and there's no
to be
light.
down.
Tap
So
it.
it's on.
That's on. That's on, yeah.
We had two over here that were, batteries were dead.
Is it on? Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, you're on. You're on. Nine o'clock?
Are they going to be able to join us?
Who's they?
Oh,
Barry?
no, no, they got a different
They've got
meeting.
a meeting in there,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
that's what I was
All right.
afraid of.
Okay.
That's what it looked like.
Probably a little more important than this one.
Well, I don't know that I hear them, but they're in the conference room. What was today's agenda?
You got
Is it 9 o'clock?
Do you have an agenda
April
for today?
11th.
Oh, here, I
Sorry.
thought, you didn't get one, I put one out there.
Is it over there? Is George coming?
No, George is not coming.
Thank you. He's what?
He's not coming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he called me a couple of days ago. He said-
Okay.
I think he's away. All right,
Anybody I needed to talk to?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Okay, good morning, we're going to get started. So I want to call to order the tree board meeting, April the 8th, 2025, our monthly meeting. I'm just going to introduce the members of the tree board. Ann Vincent, Elizabeth Hamilton, Tyler Smith, Brad Hester, and Ed Kramer, I'm your chair. All right, so everybody has an agenda in front of them, and kind of a motion to approve the agenda.
Move.
Okay. Moved.
Second.
In second. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? No, okay. Approval of the minutes. I didn't print out the minutes. They're here to be looked at. I should have made copies of them ahead of time. I'm trying to save paper. I read through them. Thank you, Ann, for doing them. I can read them quickly if you want to hear them. If not, they're here. And just take my word for it, they're accurate.
If there's problems, we can.
Since
You got
Ann
the
wrote
draft
them
copy.
and you read them, I'm willing to go with them.
Okay, I think next time I'll get them out to you before the morning, okay? The meeting, okay? But they're here if you want to see them. Okay. Okay, approval to, I'm going to, a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of
Oh,
the 11th, March 11th meeting.
Okay, March 11th, okay, second, Tyler?
Aye.
Okay, great, approved. All right, so let's go into old business. Lots of exciting things are happening. Everybody's been really busy since the last meeting. Elizabeth, you want to give us an update on the Hemlock project?
Sure. We actually did I worked closely with Joe, and we were in touch with MRA, and it turns out that MRA last year treated 80 of their trees primarily up in their campus, and then also by the park and at the columbarium. So because of all those treatments and the fact that we picked April 18th, which is Good Friday, which is not a good day for Montreat, to look for volunteers. So we're scaling back because the scope is just not needed right now to one day of working on April 22nd with a backup of April 23rd. On April 10th, representatives from the Hemlock Restoration Initiative, HRI, they're going to come and we're going to pre-mark some of the trees.
What was the date of that?
April 10th, if you're interested in helping, just reach out and let me know and we can coordinate. I don't have an exact time that they were coming over for that, but Joe, plus 2 volunteers that he knows from his botany group, and myself, we're going to be doing that, so we'll put tags on the trees that we wanted to treat, and then that would actually give us a better handle on whatever cost it's going to be and the cost sharing that we have. And so then That way we have some time in case the weather's bad on the 10th to mark the trees before the treatment on the 22nd. We have, I think, 12 people who have volunteered, a couple of newcomers to the valley, plus a couple from Joe, plus myself, and I volunteered my husband. So he was more than willing to do it. He was like, of course I'm going to do that. I'm like, okay. So anyway, so it looks like we have enough volunteers, but as people's schedules adjust or change, we may be reaching back, like, oh no, it's the people's schedules changed and we've got to find more people. But we look pretty good on that. On funding, there's about $1,300, unless people gave in April, that's not showing up yet. That's in the line item for hemlock treatment with the town. And so hopefully we don't have to, since it's only a one-day treatment, hopefully we'll have money left that then for any more complicated injections or trees that we can't treat with HRI, we could just pay an arborist or, get another way to treat those trees in a second round or move somewhere else in the valley.
Great. Thank you for the
Questions? Anyway.
But thank you for the wonderful job. You really pushed it forward. So congratulations on that. Any questions for Elizabeth?
I don't need to know the specifics right now, but I'd like to know more in general about the treatment process and what all's involved.
So it's actually, what we're doing with HRI is really simple. You mix a chemical in a bucket of water and you pour it on the ground. We're doing the drenching method for the trees that can do that. I don't know if we're doing the injection methods. That I'm not as familiar with, but I think if you look around the wellhead near Welsh Field, Barry reported that there's some trees there. There's like a little vial or something that gets nailed into the tree. And supposedly there's some there. I haven't found any myself, but Barry said they were there. We did actually reach out to MRA to see if anyone from MRA wanted to participate on the day of the treatment, and I've been in touch with Savannah to see if one of the town arborists wants to participate on that day, because at least in my mind, preserving which trees were treated when is important, because this is a 5-year or however many year event that happens.
Right.
And so keeping that record of treatment, I
Very
think
important.
is a good thing to do.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Okay. I have just a couple questions. Of the 12 people that have signed up, how many are residents of Montreat?
I think
Do you know?
10.
Oh, great. Okay, that's good, because we are the tree board of Montreat, and so 10 people to 12,
I think
that's
because
great.
Joe had 2 that were from his botany club. They live in Swannanoa, I think, so they're just outside the valley. And then I think all the rest were from inside the valley.
Beautiful, that's great. Okay, and another question is, do they have an idea how many trees are going to be treated?
I think that's what, on the 10th when we
They're gonna
mark,
determine
that's
that.
what we're
Okay.
doing. But before on the HRI list, there was about 200 trees, I think.
Right.
And MRA treated 80 of them. So,
Okay.
maybe we're down to 100 because we may not treat every. There's a concern that if you treated every tree in a group of hemlocks, that it might affect the beetle population. So even if there's a group of 12 trees that HRI identified, we may only treat half of those trees or some of those trees, just to be sure that we don't impact the beetle population.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any other questions for Ann? And the hours again, what, 9 to 3?
9 to 3
9 to 3.
on the 22nd.
Not a question, but a comment. One of the things involved with doing these trees, or really all the trees, is the things that are not on town property, but really are part of the whole mix of issues. You mentioned MRA is a good example of that. The master plan of the town includes tree board convening groups together to talk about mutual issues. That's MRA in college and town stuff. And we haven't done that, but this would be one issue which would be a good thing to try to bring people together sometime to talk about the overall strategies.
Yes, well, since I'm relatively new to the valley, do the cottagers also have a role in that? Because they used to have the wilderness back from the day. I remember the wilderness,
I do
Cottagers
remember.
Wilderness, but I don't know if that still exists or not.
Yeah, Cottagers Wilderness and Open Space Committee does still exist. It doesn't meet as often, it's not a, yes, it does exist.
Okay, because the Cottagers have Rocky Head, and I think there's
Yeah.
trees up there that were treated previously, but I don't know who did it.
So what I think we'll do, I think it's a nice suggestion, maybe after we finish this project, okay? After we finish this project, we'll follow up and see what we can do to continue that effort, based on what you just talked about with the residents and other entities in
Yeah. Yeah.
Monterey. in the
And
town.
whether it's
Yeah.
hemlocks or other trees, you know,
Right.
there's stream bank restoration, there's all kinds of pseudo tree
Right.
things, general forest health.
Okay, we'll do a follow-up afterwards. Okay. All right, any
Yeah,
other
no, go
questions or
ahead.
comments?
Okay, well, I don't have quite as much as I wish I did, but
Okay.
this is wonderful.
Oh, yeah, let me
I
just
think-
introduce Ann. I'm going to call you now on the agenda? Is that right?
Arbor Day activities?
Yeah,
Okay, no, I just wanted, Ann's going to talk about the Arbor Day activities.
Right.
Just so I get it onto the record.
yeah, and I did check a calendar, found out that National Arbor Day is the 25th, which is what we're doing, and North Carolina Arbor Day was actually March 21, but we were not prepared to be able to do anything for that. But I'm starting to get tables lined up. I'll check with Mason about what we're going to do is do a couple tables up at the post office the week of April 25th, the day it ends on the 25th, which is a Friday. So whatever that. So on April 21, we're hoping to have a table up at the post office. I'm going to try and get a second table, and we'll get a tent. I'm going to work on a sign. And basically, we're going to be having, the plan is to have information about the various projects in town, mainly aiming for restoration from Helene. I'm going to meet with Kayla tomorrow, talking about floodplains and redoing in floodplains, because I know we personally have an issue of that, so I would be interested more than just as a member of the board. We've got people from Firewise coming and lots of Firewise information, which I think is exceedingly timely right now. Nancy will be out of town, but she has two members who will do that. I'll talk with George to see what Land Care wants to do. I know they have flyers about, excuse me, about what's good to plant. That's why I'm thinking this is great. We'll get these people. I'd love to be able to have lots of information about this so that people can know. Can we advertise that with the Monterey Minute and stuff too?
I'll have to ask. I
Yeah.
can't say yes for sure, but.
Yeah, because I think this is, they're able to do a little bit more than we are at this stage in the game and have a thing. And I'll check with Barry as to what they might have and what information they might be able to do. I was hoping to meet with him after this. And if you have anything, Tyler, on doing inventory would be super. If you don't worry about it. I just, just let me know. I did check with Tom Widmer about doing a summer clubs program. They've scheduled all the talks, so we cannot do a summer clubs program. I said, well, if you need somebody to fill in, let me know. And I figure we can cobble something together pretty easy. So I think in continuation of Arbor Day and restoration is what we'll do is we can talk, who are the Cottagers presidents this year? Does anybody
Is it
remember?
Mason?
I can't remember either. I feel like I've been out of the loop of everything. But I'll talk with them, and I think I suggest we try and have a display and information at the Cottagers meetings. I know many years ago they did a land care fair where each member of the land care committee had an exhibit and had information there, since it'll just be one meeting. I'm hoping to be there with information. If at some point I'll get those flyers from you, Ed, and go through that, and we can put things out that talk about tree board and protection, and also just about how to care for the trees. I wanted to get together with George about planting and that sort of thing. If Brad, I would love to have some information also about where we are, how did our little sample trees fare, what's happening with them now. I'm pretty sure most of them got wiped out, but if you could do that with the chestnut trees that we planted, I'd appreciate it. I understand you're doing chestnuts?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be good just to know in
Some
case.
of these things have been planted by town public works people, and I don't know where exactly they were put.
Well,
So we may have to
if we
consult
could
with
find that out and let people know where we are on our own little chestnut restoration projects, that would be wonderful. So I know the storm hit a lot of them pretty badly, I think including the one up here. So, and I don't think this one exists anymore. I think this one definitely got trashed. So anyway, yeah, if we could pull all of that together. I may be in touch with, yes, we definitely need hemlock restoration.
I think there was an educational board that was funded. I don't know that I've ever seen it, because I'm usually not here during plant sale time, but I know during what was normally the plant sale, the HRI people had some sort of information board, and
Yeah.
I thought there was one that was paid for or developed by the college, but if not, they may have something, and they're here anyway. But just question, so are you looking at a passive information display
Yeah,
at the post office
yeah,
all week, just with information sitting there?
yeah.
Okay.
And
So,
I'm
yeah, they would have
thinking
this kind of thing.
time-wise, and I need some input on this, is if we could do in the morning, say from 9:30 to noon, when the post office is open, and then again, I think in the afternoon as well from 2 to 4. Let's just do our best, and if we're all just sitting there visiting with each other, then we'll just make a note of that. But we need, I feel like we need to be available to the community. And any input, I mean, I'd love to have HRI representative, not HRI, but HRI information. We'll have inventory, just basic stuff, and get a lot of the information from those handouts and stuff we've had over the years.
Okay, it's a lot.
Did I sound coherent?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. So you want to start this on Monday, the 21st of April?
21st of April, we'll
Right,
try and
okay,
do
and-
all week.
All week through Friday, the 25th. I
Yeah.
spoke to,
Pardon me?
I spoke to Jordan. As I told you, I spoke to Jordan at the post office.
Yes,
And he
yes.
gave us permission to
Yeah.
put out the tables, so
Yeah.
we're good there.
Okay, and if somebody else has a table, I'll check with Savannah, see if maybe there's a table we can use from here. But I think we need two. I have one 6-foot by 36 foldable, portable
Okay,
table
right.
that we can use. And,
And who has a tent?
pardon me,
Who has the tent?
who has that one now? Me?
The tent?
Oh, I don't know what the town has.
No,
I-
the tent, the tent.
The
The
tent.
tent, I'm sorry, I truly have trouble hearing in here. The tent, I think, is going to be the cottagers' tent. I'll check with
right.
Mason. I wanted to check with him because I
Okay.
know he and Amy know about that. I am not a tent putter-upper, so I don't camp. So, so we'll get volunteers to help with it.
We'll figure that out.
We'll
No,
to
we
get
got
that
I'm
one
worried
taken
about.
care of.
Get
That
them
one's easy peasy.
So I did go through the big
Sure,
box
it's
of
weighted
literature you
down.
gave me.
Yeah.
Okay? And I pulled out, there were a lot of doubles and triples. So this is all the singles, these are all the individual different pieces. And we have a lot of them, we can go through it together.
Okay,
And there's a lot of good information. Some of it's general, some of it's really specific to
Yeah.
Montreat.
yeah.
These are
We'll-
all different pieces of information about trees and shrubs and how you treat trees and
Yeah.
species in Montreat. It's really a a lot of good
There's a
literature.
lot of good
And
stuff in there,
There
yeah.
was, yeah, and there was a big banner in there. But I think it was more about the Tree City USA, a big, huge white banner was
Okay.
in that box.
And that may have been it may have been the Tree City USA.
Right,
I know
right.
we've got a bunch of flags.
Right.
I
But-
think I have one at home.
Okay, so
Thank
we'll
you.
get, you and I will meet.
We'll
and,
put that one out. We'll do our
Right,
best to
right, it'll
advertise
be,
ourselves, yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. It sounds,
Okay, great. And I'll
sounds
be happy to
exciting.
go
Yeah, we'll go
that
through
one.
it together. Okay, any questions or comments or suggestions about the
I'm
Arbor Day
open-
activities?
I'm open to suggestions on this, truly. Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe do like Frisbee or Pint or Pinto, like Montreat tree board on it, just.
Oh, you print something with our name on it?
Dumping out,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then I figured if wanted to do like a T-shirt and sell them, just to make dumping for Montreat tree board, just to.
Yeah, I like the idea. I don't think we have enough time to get that part together, but I think a tree board or Montreat tree board with the logo of some kind, a T-shirt would be a nice idea.
Yes, and I think
And I-
pens
Yeah.
and notebook pads and stuff like that, you can
We
get
could
them in a couple of days.
That might easily be a good thing if we can get a table for the cottagers meeting. We can do that. I know when the directory was selling T-shirts and stuff during COVID, that was one of the places, outlets they were able to do.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, no, I'm with you. We could do something later in the fall, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's what are they going to do, the plant sale in the fall or something? They were
I
No.
think
discussing that,
I haven't heard
thought.
anything.
Or was it?
George at the last meeting said they were planning no plant sale.
Yeah.
but
or you
maybe
were
that
wanting to
was-
do something in September.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe.
I'd love to. I know there's going to be a meeting of Congo mission folks over Labor Day weekend, I believe. So it's, yeah, I would like to figure out, I can't deal with that one right now.
Right.
But try and figure out something for the fall.
Okay.
And just kind of make this a low-key, year-long event.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, and the one other thing I'm thinking, when we're all doing this, and especially with the HRI stuff, we need to keep a list. We need for all of our volunteers to sign in so that we know what time they started, what time they ended. And the reason is on Tree City USA application, they ask for volunteer time of the community. And that doesn't have to be just trees. It can be land care committees, and the HRI stuff definitely would qualify for that. Anything that helps with the upkeep of the nature and the environment in the valley, we need to be sure and remember to do that. I think I can find a form that we've used in the past, or there may be one on that flash drive, Ed.
Yeah.
And we can make sure that that's printed out. Our time actually counts here, because we're all volunteers, so we're working on it.
It would be good if we all got in the habit of using that form every time we have an event,
Yeah.
or even.
Is there a form? Is there?
Yeah, I'll check and see what I might have at home, or I
Okay.
can make one up.
Okay.
And make sure we do that the week of Arbor Day,
Yeah.
to make sure that we get everybody signed in who helps us at the tent.
Right.
And just, we need to keep track of our volunteer hours.
Okay.
We have to start at the first of the year to get information for our application in the fall.
So does all the trail maintenance work that MRA's been doing, because all that's in the valley?
I don't know, I can't, that might be. We'll
Because
take a look
Jason
at
would
that.
have that.
Who?
Jason, the ranger.
Oh, good.
He does most of them, or
Jason would,
Beth, or
yeah.
Beth Fountain would
That's,
have.
that
Anyway,
may be
so
a-
maybe after the meeting, can we talk about the Tuesday? Because now the hemlock treatment overlaps with the same day as
And
this
that's fine.
informational
And
week.
that's fine,
Which is
yeah.
fine, but being sure we
Yeah.
get that bounce
Yeah.
right.
Let me see, it depends on what time we finish up here.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you ladies talk about the valley, you mean Montreat?
Mainly Montreat, yes.
Okay, 'cause
yeah,
I got a little
for the town
confused
of
there.
Montreat. And the only
Yeah.
thing with the Rangers is, if all of that is what, we can count the volunteer activity, but we cannot count the activity of the people who are paid. So
A
if
lot of
Jason
that's-
is paid by
Okay.
MRA, his hours would not count, but any of the volunteers, now none of the maintenance staff hours either would count.
Right.
It's one of those, what's what in,
That makes
you know.
sense. Yeah, volunteer means volunteer.
Yeah, but so this is volunteer
Okay.
information, and we get credit for X number of dollars per volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me interject here, speaking of pay. Jason's hours have been cut and down to the bone, I think. I don't really know the specifics of that, but there's less money for trail monitoring, so they're not doing it, or not doing much of it. He's kind of went to bat for the students that come with him in the summer, because they had already committed to
Yeah.
the summertime. But after that, I don't know what's going to happen. So I think we could be advocating with MRA to give that a priority. It's basically their finances too, I think, but
Yeah.
it's something we need to be aware of.
I mean, everybody's been hit this year. The whole staff is down to the bone, as I understand it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there for
All
this
right,
meeting.
any other questions for Ann about the Arbor Day activities? We'll have to come up with a schedule, sitting at the table.
Yeah,
Okay,
There's, I was going to say, one other thing, there's this on Saturday, which I've seen advertised pretty broadly on Facebook, so I don't know that they would have any issue with us advertising that. There's also a plant swap group in Black Mountain that's doing a thing on the Sunday.
let's,
I don't, or maybe, and I don't know, maybe we just need to do our own plant swap day. you know.
let's take advantage of it. You know, I don't know that, I certainly don't feel like I can organize a plant swap for that day.
Yeah.
Maybe later in the year, but I know
Yeah, that-
now's the time to do tree planting. But I think, let's take advantage, we just need to let people know what's available in the valley. And if there's something on both Saturday and Sunday of that weekend, then let's go for it. We need to, and they shouldn't have any problem with this. You're the Tree Alliance, this is Tree Alliance, correct?
Right, which I was going to speak about.
Yeah,
This is what they're putting on, the Swananoa Valley Tree Alliance,
Okay.
which we are part of.
which I know we're a part of, and that'd be great if you can help us coordinate with them and tell them we want to advertise
Okay.
and, you know, that sort of thing, and find out about the plant swap group, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be super.
Okay. All right, any other questions or
Oh.
comments?
Hopefully I'm done.
Okay, let's move on. I'll give a quick update since Commissioner Blake isn't here today. You remember at our last meeting, we talked about the right-of-way request. Well, all we could do is just give some advice as we thought about it. He spoke about it at the last town meeting. He spoke against giving the right-of-way. And he kind of had a lot of, other than his own personal feelings about it, he did include some of our comments as a tree board, which I was very appreciative of. I also spoke on behalf of the board. And in the end, they decided just to deny it, which is one of the options. They could have granted them a public hearing, but they didn't even go to that. They just outright denied the request. So we had a little bit of input in there. Okay, and the Commissioner Blake spoke against it and did include some tree board feedback that we had given him. So it was great. So thank you, Commissioner Blake, if you're listening. All right. The Montreat Minute Notice. If you remember last time we talked about making the town aware if anybody was not able to gather up the brush themselves. I got 4 phone calls from that,
Great.
all taken care of. All
Right.
taken care of, yeah. Tyler was involved in a couple of them.
Good.
Some of them are larger than he could do, but.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you.
Yeah, so it all worked out, and and the ones that did call were very appreciative. We're very appreciative that that was an option that the town was giving them, so.
Good.
Okay, Tyler, any update on the inventory? What do you see around town? in your-
Just know those trees that need to be down, that Barry took care of that between March in this meeting, and knowing that things are starting to bloom out, be easier to see what's dead and what's alive and move from now on out. Know between now and the next meeting, be making the right-of-way inventory of what needs to be done or not done by Barry and Kyle Patton to determine on what kind of stuff needs to be done in those areas. And then probably won't know much until May or June meeting.
Okay. Okay, good. So they're out there actively looking for
Yeah,
trees that
now-
are a problem on the right
But
of way.
now that things are starting to bloom out and be able to really tell
What's dead?
which good and what's not good right now.
Right, okay. Great.
Is that an opportunity for volunteers?
Now they're just gonna go and do
Gotcha.
whatever trees in the right of way that are, I guess, between the right of way and like a walking path or
Right.
the right of way in the street, just for people protection of not having a fallen tree or
Okay.
limb come down, so
Okay, great. Is Kyle back?
he comes and goes.
I was going to say, I thought he was in Alaska.
All right, so that's a good update on the inventory. So it's being looked at actively?
so.
All right, good.
Yeah, so
Okay,
between now and then, and with all the big storms that come through, it'll be more
right,
noticeable.
okay. Any questions for Tyler? Okay. All right, the summer club activity, I think, Ann, you spoke to that, about the cottages and,
Sorry.
no, that's fine. I'm glad you did. So you spoke to Tom, said they have nothing available and they're
He said they've been,
busy.
they
Full.
had everything organized
Okay,
in
that's fine.
February or
Okay,
something. so-
that's fine, okay. All right, so that's the situation there. All right,
So that's why I'm thinking, let's do a table.
yeah, no,
It won't be the first time.
right, okay, all right. Then that's all the old business I had. Anybody else have any old business they want to bring up? No, okay. All right, new business. Let's jump down to the Swanano Valley Tree Alliance event, which everybody has a flyer. And we're members of the Alliance. Of course, we do have 14 treasure trees in this town, and I want to talk about that, not this meeting, next meeting, because most of the trees that were nominated last time were right away. We had some private owners. We had Ann's house and a couple others, but the majority of those 14 trees were in right away. It was a little bit of a fundraiser for us. I'll be honest, it was $100, and I know you wrote a check, and it cost $50 for the plaque. So that additional 50 went into the town's budget, and it's money for us. I'm thinking at some point maybe we should open this up to private owners and let them know they have a tree on their property and they would like to see if it could be nominated for a treasure tree with a plaque. I think we'll get a lot of calls.
Great.
Yeah.
That'd be super.
Yeah, so that's the story on this program. Let me talk about the Montreat Community Garden. I don't know how many of you are aware, there is a piece of land, and this, right off of Virginia Avenue. It's got a big fence around it. It's got a big water container in it. A gentleman by the name of Mike Sonnenberg, did I have that name right?
Yeah.
He used to take care of that garden. I've spoken to him a number of times. It's dormant right now. And it's a large piece of property. And there was talk here by George about maybe starting a community garden in Montreat. Everything native to North Carolina, even maybe native to Montreat. All the beds are dug. They just need cleaned. There's a water source there. It's fenced. There's tools. There's a shed. I just have to make sure that that is truly town property. I'm not 100% positive. Do you think it is?
Do
you know where I'm talking about?
I think so. I think it's in an old right-of-way, because they talked about extending one of the roads across that creek over to Virginia, and it never happened. And I
Okay.
know that because it's our road.
Oh,
So,
okay, okay,
yeah.
right.
And I don't think Quillen Lane ever got extended, but I would double check on that.
I'm
So
gonna
I
do
think
that.
I think that's where he was doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody know where it is?
And I would probably check with the neighbors, knowing that they're
Right.
pretty much all new.
Right,
Yeah.
I've met the neighbors,
Neighbors.
yes. I met both neighbors, and they leave it alone, they have their own gardens.
Oh, yeah.
The access is a little funny. To get to it from you got to go through their property from Assembly, or you got to walk across someone's lawn from Virginia to get down into it. It's like
Yeah.
landlocked,
Yeah.
but it sits there dormant.
Oh, this big one that's here towards this end of Virginia.
Yeah,
Yes.
this end of Virginia.
Okay, I
yeah.
was trying to
No.
imagine something way up
It's
there.
the-
So
it's a-
it's
it's a-
relatively flat even.
I
Excuse me?
think, I
It's
think it's
relatively
behind like
flat.
the Griffith or Griffins. They're relatively new in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
back in there,
It's about house number 118.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds about
But I
right.
mean, there's a red house next to it. I don't know if there's a way of making a public path
Yeah,
from
we'd have to-
there
yeah.
to the garden
Yeah.
that going through those people's yard if they don't want people just
Yeah.
cutting
Oh,
through.
yeah, exactly. I mean, this is just, it is there. The property's there, and it's fenced, like I said, it's got water, it's got beds,
Yeah.
just need good cleanup, and it gets a tremendous amount of sun. Incredible amount of sun. I mean, it's full sun in this particular piece of property. So I'm going to have more information on that for the next meeting.
Great.
Yeah, but I think that'd be a great community project
Yeah.
if we can organize it properly. Okay, any questions about that? No. All right, Chestnut Foundation. I've got a little information, maybe Brad, you have some as well?
Know that.
Nothing new.
Okay, so I have contacted the, I have contacted the Chestnut Foundation through the Southern Appalachia Heritage Organization. They have an office up on Merriman Avenue, and they are interested. They're a little bit behind because of the storm,
Yeah.
they have priorities right now. I was told by, I think, Mary and Joe Standard, there once was a chestnut grove somewhere in this town.
It's what?
A chestnut grove of trees, a grove
Yeah.
of chestnuts,
Yeah.
okay. And that was one of the first questions that these people asked me, were there ever any chestnuts in your town? So I didn't know, and I checked with them, and they said, yes, there was.
Oh, yeah.
There, and
There
Go
used to
ahead.
be you go up along the Trestle Road and all that, there used to be old chestnut. I remember when I was a kid, there were old chestnut stumps up there.
Okay.
And I know, and I don't know, Brad, you may know the Coleman Ledgerton up here on Eastminster. There was a tree there that was not the healthiest, and it did produce fruit. And Barry and them knew about it. We worked on creating a map of where all the chestnut trees were in town, and on the college campus, there's a little grove down there on the college campus that was planted, I don't know, 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
When, was it Brian Joyce used to be on the,
Yeah, it's when
staff.
that, it's when that
He
new
was a
variety
professor,
first came
yeah,
out.
with Montreat, yeah, it's one of the first
Yeah.
efforts that they did. And I know, I climbed down in there with Dottie Schumann several years ago, and we got pictures and stuff. It was producing fruit, and it's kind of overgrown. It needed to be cleaned out, but I think it was a project for the college as well, so.
I've heard of that tree, I had never seen it, so.
Yeah, yeah. They've got them down there a couple places. I'd have to pull out a lot of my information when we were trying to create the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I contacted them, they do have programming available, speakers, and that was the first question they asked me. Have you ever had chestnuts in your town?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't really know the answer.
Who did you talk to?
At the, I spoke to, what was her name? I forget, I have her name here somewhere. Cheryl. Her name was Cheryl, at the
Cheryl?
organization that these.
Okay, I don't think
yeah.
I know.
It's a new name to me.
I'm sure they've changed over. I
Oh, yeah,
remember I
I'm
used
sure
to
they have.
talk to Samantha Bowers a lot, but I don't know if she's still there. Is Jamie still there, the scientist person?
As far as I know, but I don't know.
So this is just the beginning, this is just a new initiative that we're going to get started with.
Yeah.
It's going to take
Let's-
time.
let's
Anybody involved with
reignite
trees
that.
right now is just so backed up with everything.
Yeah.
I've even, between the last meeting and this meeting, I contacted the Asheville Arborist, City of Asheville, and the county. They just don't even want to talk to
Yeah.
people like me right now. But we
Everybody's
just,
slammed.
right, they got too much on their plate. But, so we'll get more update on that. But, so that's another project for us to start considering, all right? No Public Works announcements today.
Other Chestnut stuff?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Okay. So a couple of things. One, I think it would be good if we can build the relationship, communication with the TACF people and try to have, one thing I would suggest is try to organize a community event. You know, they have a movie that talks about the history of the chestnut, and that we could show them a movie. We could have people from there come and talk to a group. And I'm not talking about any time real soon, but to be working towards something that could be done there. I think we need to try to build an interest in the town, in the community, and as far as I know, that's a good way to do it. It's events like that.
You want to put that together? For the fall?
It's hard to put together. You know, I've tried it a couple of times before and not gotten much response. So maybe if we all kind of communicate about what could work, that would be good. But yeah, I think it'd be good to have a target of sometime in the fall. Yeah.
I know we tried a couple years ago, and COVID kept interrupting because they had a lot of issues on staff with COVID. And so we had to cancel. Didn't we have to cancel that event? We have one September?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Would it work, just as an idea, to get more bounce and make it worth everybody's time? You know, if we worked, like with the Tree Alliance, the Swanno Valley Tree Alliance, and did a thing like at the Black Mountain Library, because that's a public venue, because then it makes it worth their time to come, and there's parking and there's space and stuff like, you know, but maybe join forces
Yeah, I can talk to them.
with
They're-
something
they're
like,
great.
do something that way.
That would be a different thing from trying to focus in on the Montreat community.
Yes,
And my
it's true.
focus is trying to get Montreat community involved. But I think doing the thing you're talking about could help do that.
Yeah, but, you know, pull the
larger-
Montreat community, just use that as the venue or do it here.
Well, we are
But
members.
pull those folks
Yeah,
here.
I agree with you. We are members of the Alliance. They would have no problem, I'm sure, coming to our town and helping us put on that program.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
And I think if we, because I know there's been a long history with the chestnuts, and I think when we were planting, I believe the Chestnut Foundation donated one of the information boards that was out here. I don't know if it survived Helene or not. I don't know what the deal is. But they've been very generous in the past, and
Yeah.
especially with the history of the chestnut in town.
Yeah, I think it's a program for the fall.
Yeah.
I'll make some phone calls.
Yeah, and we could do it.
We could do it in this
Sure,
town.
we could do it in
And-
town halls
Yeah.
big enough.
The plan
too.
was,
Right.
I think, to do it here, yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because we have AV and all
Yeah, they have
sorts.
no problem coming here.
Yeah.
We end up meeting all the time in the park. They don't
Yeah.
have a building. We meet in the pavilion at the,
We
Black
we
Mountain.
can, we can
we can give
talk to the town administration.
yeah, right. Yeah, so that's an exciting program for the future.
Yeah.
Chestnut,
Okay.
the Alliance.
We've been going over several things. Okay, so I'd like to draw, let me pass this little map out. Take a copy, yeah. This is a tiny version of Montreat map, and it's really too small to make much of, but I wanted to try to point out an idea that I've been working on for a while. If sort of right in the middle, you see it's sort of a slanting, long, elongated diamond sort of thing right there. It's on one end, it's, I believe it's Virginia. On the other end, maybe North Carolina, I'm not sure. It's up behind, the other end is up behind the post office. But you'll see that going across the middle of that, there's this gray line. with houses on both sides of it. That's, I understand that's on average about a 60-foot long, 60-foot wide strip of land. That's Montreat property that's not being used for anything. It's a little bit too close, too narrow to be able to build anything there. So, but as far as I know, it doesn't really have much by way of infrastructure under, like pipes or sewers or whatever. I think we should look into that space, or there's a couple others that are similar, that we could have a target of trying to create a chestnut grove. Have it like a park, and, you know, that would take some work to landscape or whatever, but then we could plant, you know, that's a couple 100 feet or maybe 100 yards or something length, and we could scatter some chestnuts out through there and make a path or whatever that I think over time, that with a little attention, it could be turned into a thing. The question about did Montreat ever have chestnuts? If you, I don't know if it's the national map or the state map, but there's one that has soil types, and when you look at the Montreat area, soil type, a big part of the town, the soil type is chestnut. That may say something to you. My understanding through the lore is that at one point, more than half the trees in the valley were chestnut. You know, so the answer is yes, there have been, but they haven't been here maybe in 100 years because the blight started
The
100
blight,
years ago.
yeah, the blight got them, yeah.
So, but there are some that still survive, as you pointed out. So I think there's great potential for having healthy, if we can get trees that deal with the insults that they get to them. So I'm looking at that area, but the main idea is to take some of these larger town property things and see what if we can see about planting chestnuts or other things that we decide would be good to have there.
Since we talked about it earlier, is one of those, you know, the behind the hitches, that was 100-foot wide. According to the documents submitted during that petition, they were talking about the area behind was 100 feet wide or something, which is wider than the normal. There is a access on that one, but maybe that would, because it's relatively flat, and that'd be an easy place. There's already a driveway thing that is public, so it would be a path already there.
Okay.
It's a similar kind of gray strip there off of another part of Virginia, a little bit further down. That I think
All
would be
right,
that.
I think that's a terrific idea. So why don't you put something together between now and our next meeting for this fall event, including this idea that you have?
I'll work on the
All right.
ideas.
And maybe
Okay.
we'll meet up there one day as a board, on one of these spots. And the weather's gonna be pretty, it should be warmer in May. So we'll think about that. I'll think about it and talk to the rest of you. But I think after this discussion, I see a really wonderful chestnut program developing here for the fall, between all the input that we've had here today. And I think the town would really come out for that.
Okay.
Okay, good. Wonderful. Thank you, Brad. All right, any other new business that I forgot to put on the agenda? Anybody have any general announcements they want to make? We're set for the, we'll have to come up with some volunteers, we'll come up with a schedule for the April 21 to 25,
Yeah.
because that's only 2 weeks away.
Does anybody have a problem with doing both the morning and the afternoon? I mean, I need some input on that. I did talk to, a couple people who did it with Land Care, and I know that's where they sell barbecue tickets and
Oh,
stuff.
that's-
But I know there were some Land Care issues or attempts during COVID and stuff, so that's why I'm wondering. I just feel we need to do as much as we can.
Well, let's see, Monday through Friday, that's 5 days, you're talking about 4 hours a day,
Yeah,
so that's 20 hours.
yeah.
As long as we can cover the table for 20 hours with 1 or 2 people,
Yeah, and that'd be great if any of the committees or people here would be able to help with that. I know we've got the thing on the 22nd. That could be HRI Day, so,
Right.
but, you know,
Okay.
You know, one comment, you know, Land Care is a committee that's supposedly bringing all different groups together from the community, and it's seen in part as a place where MRA and college and Montreat can all converse around topics having to do with the care of the land and stuff. We should keep that in mind, and with George on the board, it would be possible to use that connection to enhance the communications we have with the community by getting him to take things to Land Care to disseminate information, for example, and to invite other people to get involved in projects and things. And I think it's something that we should be cognizant about all the time.
I would say that if anybody has a project that will need volunteers, I mean, as long as it's not passed, that's a good time to put a sign-up sheet out there for anybody who is interested, finding out about who might want to help volunteer with anything.
All right, so let's just sum it up here. So we got the Heritage, we got the Hemlock thing going. You're pretty well set. Okay, good. And we need to set up a schedule for the volunteers at the post office at 21 through 25, all right?
Yeah,
And we'll go over the literature together.
yeah,
Okay,
that'd be
great.
great.
You're going to follow up on the Chestnut, come back to us at the next meeting, with some idea for a fall program, okay? All right. I'll check out that garden, that space, okay? I'll get in contact with the Tree Alliance about if they want to do a little joint project here
Yeah.
in Montreat. Okay. Anything else? Nope. All right, it's busy. We all have something to do, that's the important thing, between meetings. All right, if there's no other business, a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
okay? Elizabeth moves, we,
Second.
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. All righty, thank you. All right, we're busy. Sure. Yeah, we don't do this now, but this is, I pulled one of everything
Great,
out of that box.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
call you.
There was a lot of, that'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, and I went through, and this is one of everything.
Yeah, and I've got another Arbor Day news that came in. That has more information on that.
Okay.
Nobody wants to keep one of these?
I got mine. Yeah, and it's not really dated, yeah, it's really not dated material,
Oh, it was on,
okay? It's not dated, so, you know, you want to see some of it? Anybody want to see any of it now? I'll tell you in a minute. Here's a Montreat, let me see. Here's a nice brochure, Vases of Montreat, 101. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in here, yeah. All right. That's a great idea.
I wish we had well, we can have a larger one that we can use for reference, because this is called the Tree Board Study Map. I think
Yeah,
it's
maybe
something
I'll
we should
call you,
make.
I'll call you, and maybe we'll walk up there together. You know where they are?
Up.
We'll see what these spaces look like. Are they walkable or not?
I don't really know. I think the one I was talking about is,
Okay, all
at
right.
least mostly.
Okay, good. What's the next meeting date? Second Tuesday of May?
Next meeting?
Yeah. So, May.
Phone in the car.
May 13th.
May 13th, okay, fine. Oh, by the way, May 13th, you'll figure out, is the next meeting. May 13th is our next meeting. Just put it in your head now. May 13th. Next tree board meeting.
Next meeting, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, May 13th.
Thank you.
Okay. What'd you say? Did you ask me something?
I was just sure I left my phone in my
Oh,
car.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
May 13th.
It's,
Just, you'll get it.
anybody could get in the car and drive off at this point. The phone is the key.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. All right, put it here, give you the minutes, bring it back. All right, Brad, I'll email you. I'll email you just a little summary of what this chestnut thing, this has a lot of possibilities, tremendous possibilities. I think it'll bring a lot of joy to people if the chestnuts got going here other than 2 or 3 trees. How's Jean doing?
She's okay.
She all right now? Good.
She went to have an MRI the other day and,
For what?
that is an ultrasound there.
For what?
Well, it's the kidney thing.
Oh, the kidney thing.
But the news is good. There's no sign of,
No dialysis needed? Oh, good.
at this point, it's looking good.
Wonderful.
She's feeling fine. Car is still there. Nobody discovered it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Phone's in there, they can drive away.
It's very convenient for, but it's easy to forget.
Get all these turned off.